Hi everyone, let's build and deploy this amazing portfolio website using HTML and Tailwind CSS. This website is responsive for mobile application, mobile screens and also for desktop screens. And in this tutorial you will learn a lots of stuff like how to make a responsive website using HTML and Tailwind CSS. And also in this project we are going to use some Tailwind CSS CDN. So let's get started. So first of all, we have to create a folder on our desktop which name will be portfolio using HTML and Tailwind CSS. So after creating a folder on our desktop, now it's time to drag and drop the folder inside the VS Code where we develop our project. So first of all, we have to open the terminal to write some commands to install our Vite app. Using Vite app, we will be using HTML and Tailwind CSS. Vite app is a open source and it allows us to work on a small project, and we can enhance the small project into big one. So that's why I'm using Vite app. So feel free to use the other plain HTML and CSS if you want to, but my choice is Vite app. So we have to npm install to install all the dependency which is required to build this project. After that we have to delete the counter.js because I think we don't need that. After that we can see we have a style.css. In future we are going to remove that content also. Before that we have to remove index.html all the codes and just put the default code which is required for building our first screen. And we only have one screen and it will be this Figma design, and we will be follow along this Figma design in our development. So we have put it title. Now it's time to drag and drop the folder inside our portfolio website folder. However, you don't have to do this step because I have already put it in my asset folder, so you can get it from the GitHub repository and you don't have to put anything from anywhere. So we have to go to Tailwind.docs installation place CDN, and from where we can copy this code which will allow us to use Tailwind CSS inside our project. It is using the CDN of Tailwind CSS which make our development easier, and we don't have to install Tailwind CSS from scratch. We just using the Tailwind CSS CDN. So write npm run dev which will start our project. So it is started, and now we have to go to localhost 5173 where our project is running. So you can see that the Tailwind CSS is applied because we have written some classes and which is applied on our website. Now it's time to have classes for our body, so we can make the background black and the text will be white. So for that I'm using a class name of bg black and text will be also white, and the padding on from all the side will be 10 and the padding on x-axis will be more than the on y-axis about 20. Now it's time to remove all these styles from .css, and we have to put a style of box shadow for all the elements we are going to use on our website. Static means selecting all the elements on the website. However, the box shadow which value we have given not applied because we don't have even linked it with our HTML. So we have to do that. Now you can see that our style is applied on our website and box shadow is showing displaying. So If you go to style.css and remove the gray to see how is it look, it is looking white background border shadow, and I think gray is okay. Now we can move toward the next thing, which is building our first component. And for that we have to remove that and comment out a text of navbar and just copy paste this comment, and in between this comment section we will be writing all the code which is required to build our navbar. So for that I am using nav element, which is HTML semantic element, and we are given a class of flex justify between, and item will be centralized. After that, inside this container of nav we need a heading of h1 which will have a font size of 2 pixel, and font will be bold and text will be Spaqoo tag. After that we need a unordered list, and it is also HTML tag ul, and it will have a class name of flex, and justify will be between, and items will be centralized, and gap will be done. And inside this ul we need some text like home, about, and contact. However, each list is inside each list contain an anchor tag which will allow us to click on this that text, and it can be redirected to another page or another section of our website. So it will be useful if you want to use it. However, we have 4 lists now: home, about, work, and contact. Now I think we have completed our navbar section. Now it's time to build our next section, which will be the header section. For that, also comment out a text of header, just copy paste it again. Inside this comment sections we will be writing the all of the code which is required to build our header. So for that we are using header element, and the header element will be having the class name of flex, and flex will be a column, and justify will be center, and items will be also center, and the gap will be 2. So also we need a padding from all the side of 32, and if we put that we can see a box here, but when we put some data inside this header we will see the exact layout as our Figma design. So first of all we need a paragraph tag, and the paragraph tag will have a class name of 3xl, text 3xl, and the text will be hi via Spaqoo tag. So below this paragraph we need a heading which will be displaying building products and brands. So have a write a h1 tag, and this will have a class name of text 5xl, and the font will be bold, and the text will be building products and brands. So you can see that a good looking heading is showing on our website, and also we have to customize the color of this heading by giving the color of text gray 300. I think this color is looking great. Now we need an image below this heading, and the image will be, we have to write the location of the image, which will be the public asset and slash computer dot png. It is bigger image, so we have to customize its height and width, and for that I'm giving a width of 500 px. So you can see that it's looking good, I think. So we can just copy paste it again, because we have required many other images, small images, and which will be around the computer image, and for that I'm using width of 50, and the image will be the below image, and we have to make this image absolute, so we can specify a location for this image. However, this image is related to our header section, so give the class name of relative to our header. If you don't do that, you will see some uh, errors. However, we need to specify a location for this image, like I have given it top 10 and left will be 10, and just copy paste these images again 4 times and change the name accordingly. Also change the location for each image accordingly, like first two image was top, and they have a location of left and right. The second last two will be right, bottom, and they have a location of left and right also. So you can see that the small images is around the header section. Now I think we have done our header section. It's time to build our second component, which will be the about section. So now let's build our about section. First of all, we need a div which will have a class name of py10, which means padding on y-axis will be 10. And when we click enter, we have to enter any one more element, which will be the h1 tag, and this will have a class name of 3xl, tags 3xl. Font will be bold and text will be gray 100, and the margin bottom will be 5, and the text will be about me, and it will be displayed on our about section. So if you go to our website, then we can scroll down and we can see our text is displaying on the website. Now we can work on our layout. This is the layout which we are going to build, and this is we are just look if we look this layout, this is much more complex, but using Tailwind CSS, it is we will simplify it into just few steps, and you can create this type of layout within minutes. So first of all, we have to create the card. So we will be using this card code again and again inside our layout. So first of all, we have to have the card will have a content div which will have a class name of padding 10 from all the side. Border will be rounded and the bg will background color will be gray 900. And inside this container, before that we have to wrap up this code inside a card command. So we can, when we copy this card code again and again, we can understand this is the code for our card. So the card will have an image, and the image will be the public asset inside the grid one, and this is the image. However, it's looking much more greater than our requirement, so we have to fix it height by giving it a class of h80. However, it's looking bigger, so we have to change the class name to fix it out its height. So if we give h72 or 62, 62 is much more smaller, 68 is I think, 64 it's looking good I think, and yeah, it's looking good. And we can move toward the next thing, which is writing the title for this card. So for writing our title for this card, we are going to use h1 element, and the h1 element will have a class name of text xl. Font will be bold and the text will be hi, I am Spaqoo. And below this heading we need a paragraph which will have a class name of textgraph 500, and the text will be small sm, and the text will be lorem text. So you can see that. So if we go to the website, you can see that everything is working perfectly. Now it's time to create our grid section, the complex grid section. However, we make it very simplified, and you can see how I I will be creating the more complex layout while using just simple divs. So first of all, we need a container which will have a class of flex. Inside that container, we need another container which will have a width of 2/6, and the flex will be flex, and the gap will be 5. And we have to give gap to our outermost container of our grid, and after that we have to just copy paste this again, and we have two container having different sizes, and this will be the two main containers. Inside the second container we need another container which will have a uh, which will be showing which will be displaying a card text, and it will be also flex column, and we just have to copy paste it again, and we have to go to our first container. Inside this container we have another container which will be grid, and the grid columns will be 2, and the gap will be between the columns will be 5. So just enter, and inside this container we have to copy this card text and paste it 2 times, and below this container we need another one. So you can see how we have built our layout. However, it's looking awkward because we have just missed up one thing. We have to give flex column to this container also. So you can see that we have successfully created our layout, but you will understand when we put the card code inside the grids. So let's fix it out by giving 2 grid of 2. Now it's time to copy and cut out the card code from the above section and replace the card code with the card text. The div containing card text will be replaced by the card code which we have created earlier. So just cut it from here, and let's give some space between our code and our grid, and just replace this with our card code. And we have to do it with all the div which are displaying card text. So let's do it for this also, the second last 2, and again for the last one just paste it here. If we go to the website, you can see the layout is created. This is the magic of Tailwind CSS. This is the magic of reusability of codes. So you can see that our layout is looking great, but we will customize it to make it more better. So remove some text from here. I think let's select out from text from the all over the cards. We have removed some text, and if we remove copy paste some more code to make our layout just same size as our Figma design, then you can see that it's looking nice now. Now it's time to change image name accordingly to get the same images as we have in our Figma design. So if we change the image names like grid 1, grid 2, grid 3, again grid 4, then and the last one will be grid 5. So if you go to the website, before that we have to customize the height of each image. So you can see that every image is displaying, but the last image is not displaying well. So we will fix it out also. Before that we have to fix this height, and I have given height of 70, and you can see that every image are looking great, but one image is missing. We will fix it out in the next few minutes. So if we go to the second last one, before that we have to remove the text from our big container, which is the third card, and we have to fix it out the image for our last component, last card. So if we put about image 4, it is this image, but we don't require it here, but we will fix it out. Before that, we have to change the second last image, which should be the about image img4, and just copy from here. Before that, we have to change this image also, which is the grid 4, and this image will be the about img5, img3. I have img5. If we put img4, yeah, that's looking great, and our layout is little more ugly, so we have to remove some text from here. To we have to give some text, copy paste some text to make our layout just similar to of Figma design. Now I think we have just done the development of our about section, and it's looking great now. So it's time to move toward the next section, which is building our, let's see what we have to build. It is our work section. So comment out a text of work and just copy paste this comment, and between these comments we will be writing all the code which is required to build our work section. So for that, use a div which will have a class name of py10, and it will also contain this div. Inside this div we need a h1 tag which will have a class name of text3xl, and text gray will be 300, I think 100, and font will be bold, and the text will be my selected work, and the margin bottom will be also 5. So if we scroll down, you can see that, but we need to have another class name which is the font bold. Now it's looking great. Now it's time to build up our this whole components. So for that we have to, let's start. So now let's build further our work section. So for that we need a div which will have a class name of flex and gap of 5. Now we need two containers which will be located in front of each other. So first of all, the first container will have a border radius of LG, rounded LG, and padding of 5, and the height will be 500 px. And just copy paste this again, and we can see two container, but we don't have fixed it width. So now it's time to fix its width also. So we are going to give width of 3/6 for each. Then you can see that two containers are in front of each other, but when we put some text you can see that our stuff. So also we have to give some background to our this container, like the background will be an image, and the image name will be spotlight1.png. and if we refresh the website, then you can see a light is coming in the background. So now let's set the position of our image by giving it some position like bg covered, bg center, and the bg will be no repeat. So you can see that now it's looking great, and it's time to give background image to our next component, next container, and the image of this container will be work computer, and let's write work computer. So you can see that image, but we have to fix it out. Its location, the image location. So give bg cover, bg center, and bg no repeat. Then you can see that our image is looking great. Now it's time to select both images, and let's fix it out its height also. So I think 550 px is much more good to go with. And remove the text, so we don't need the text. And it's time to build our divs while putting some content inside it. So in first div, we will need a div which will have a border, and the border will be gray 900, and the padding will be 2 inside the container. And inside the container we need an image. The image will be the, I think the image will be, what the image name is, I forget it, I think. So we have to go to our asset folder so we can see the image name. uh, Here we will found our image name of what is the name of the image, I forget it. However, let's try to find out. A logo one, I think it will be, yeah, that's basically it. And it is the, its name is project logo one. And if we refresh, then we can see the image is looking great. Now it's time to fix the height of our image, and give it like 5, around 10. I think it's looking great now. And just round it the LG. And also we have to give it a flex, and flex will be column, and the start items will be start. I think justify will be between, and items will be start. Justify start, I think it looks good, and items will be center start. Yeah, now I think it's looking great. And we just have to fix it out the border, so the border is now visible. And now we can put our next thing below this container, which is the h1. The h1 will be having a class name of text to excel. The font will be bold, and the text will be podcaster, AI podcast platform. So just write as it is in our Figma design. So you can see that our text is now looking good, and we have to give some gap between these content which we are going to put inside our container. So gap of 2 is good. And below the heading we need another paragraph which will have a class name of text graph 500, and the text will be SM semi bold. Semi-bold, no, small, and the text will be lorem. And just copy paste this paragraph and paste it below the paragraph, so we will get the exact output shown in our Figma design. So also we have to see what is making error. Now it's fix it out, and our tags are looking good. And if we go to our development, I think the SM is too much smaller, so let's select it and make it MD, and the text will be gray 300. And now I think it's looking great, and we can move on. Before that, we have to fix it out the text color to 500 PA gray. Below this paragraph we need another div which will have a class name of flex. Justify will be between, and the items will be center. So this container will contain another container of which will be outputting text 1 and 2. And however we have to fix it out its width also, so give it a class name of w full. Now we can see that our text are from justify between. Now it's time to select this both container, and these both container will have a width of 3 upon 6, means it will contain, each will contain half of the width of the container. Now also we have to give justify between to it and items to centralize, and the gap will be 2. So let's remove all this stuff and put some data inside our first container. The thing will be this container which we already have created. Just paste it here because we need a logo which having some border. So we have already created this. Just to copy paste it again and again for 4 times, and yeah, we can see it on our website. So before that we have to fix it out the height of each image. In my case it will be as 5, however I put 5, that will be not good. If we go to the website, before that we have to fix the image name for each. Like the second image will be logo will be the typescript.png, the third one will be Tailwindcss.png, and the last one will be, the last image will be, logo will be framer.png, and the first will be React.svg. So if we go to the website, we will see the exact images which we are importing and which we are having in our Figma design. However, we have to select the 5 number because we have to give h5. We have mixed up the h class, and that's why now it's looking great. And I think we have to build our next div which will contain a text, and for that I'm using a paragraph tag, and the paragraph tag will have a class name of text axle, and the text will be check live site. And after that, this image, this text, we will need an image which will be arrow up image, and it is as shown in our Figma designer. So let's fix it out its heights also. So give h5. I think this is looking great, and I think we need a gap between our text and our image. So let's go into that. Before that, let's forget that we don't need to customize much of that because it already have looking good, and we have to make it justify between. So our content will be in justify between section, and it's looking now great. And yeah, it's looking great, and we need a padding on y-axis will be 20. It is too close. Now below these containers, what we need another container which will contain the arrow left and arrow right, also containing the dots. So for that, what we have to do, we have to create another div which will contain these stuff. So the div will be having a class name of flex, justify will be between, and the items will be centralized. So now we need an image. Just copy this and paste it here, and we have to fix it out this image by removing this border because we don't need border. We need a bg of 900, create 900, and also we have to round it full, and the image will be arrow left arrow. If we go to the website and see, then it's looking great. Now I think we have to little bit customize the we don't have to customize, just copy paste it again and just change the image name for second image. I think before that we have to have another container between these images of having class name of flags and justify will be center and items will be centralized. Before that we have to change the name of second image, and we also have to give the container the width of full, so it will contain all the full width of the container. Now it's time to give another div inside the main div of bg gray 900, and it will contain a class name of p1 padding 1, and the round it will be full. So you can see a little dot and just copy paste it again and again and just remove change the name for one container. However, we need to have some gap between these dots. If we refresh, then it's looking great, and I think we have to change the image color, the background color for each container. And I think we have completed this section and we are good to go towards our next component, next section, which is the client section, where clients will we have to showcase our clients feedback. So for that we need a container. The container will have a class name of pyxis10, and inside that container we need a heading 1, and it will have a class name of text3xl, and the font will be bold and the text will be gray 100 and the margin bottom will be 5. And inside this we need a text about hair from my clients. So it's looking great, and below this we need a grid which will contain these cards. So first of all we have to create a feedback card. So for feedback card I am commenting a text of feedback. Between these comments we will be writing whole code which is required to create our this card. However, we create one card and just use this card again and again and change the content for both the 4 cards. So let's see how I do. So first of all we need our div which will have a class name of p5, round it will be axle, and the bg gray will be 900. Inside this container, this div, we need a paragraph which will have a text of lg. Text will be gray 400, and we have to just put a bottom text inside this. After that we need another div which will have a class name of flags. Justify will be between and the items will be centralized. And inside this div, another div we have required of a div 1 and div 2, and the div 1 will be containing I think the star images. So inside the div 1 we need a image tag. The image tag will be having a image of a review image, and it will be after that we need another div which will contain text of heading 1, and it will have a class name of text axle, and font will be bold and the text will be Spaqoo. After that h1 we need a paragraph which will have a text of gray 500, and the text will be front end developer, so it will be looking good. And after that we have to give a flex class to our container which contain the image and the text also. So the class of flex gap will be 2, and items will be I think we don't have give the items, we have given the padding of 2. We have to fix it out the image size around height 20. I think 12 is much more cool. 16, 18, let's see which is 14. I think 14 is looking great. And just copy this image and paste it inside this, because we need an image which will be displaying the stars. So it will be a star, so you can see the star, and just copy paste it around 5 times and give it flags, and gap will be 2. Now we have successfully created our card. Now it's time to have the grid, so we can paste this card inside our grid 4 times, and we can complete our this component also. So just cut it out from here, and now it's time to have a div grid, which will be grid calls to, and inside this container we will paste this card 4 times. So we will have 4 time cards on our screen also. So you can see that we have 4 cards on our screen, and we will change image for each card. So this last one will be review 4, the second last will be review 3, and the second will be review 2. So you can see the image are changed, but feel free to change the text also. However, I don't focus on that because it will take a lots of time for that. But if you are building this project for yourself, then you have to change that. So we have completed this section successfully also. Now this is the time to develop our next component, next section, which is the experience section. So for that, we have to comment out a text of experience. Between these comments, we need a container which will have a class name of py on 10, py10, and also inside this container we will need a heading of h1, and it will contain a class name of text3xl. Font will be bold and text will be gray 100, and the margin bottom will be 5, and the text will be my work experience. So yeah, that's basically it, and it's looking great. And below this text we need a container which will contain the image, and another container which will contain some data contents. And for that, let's build it up. So now we have to put a text of 1, and just copy paste the container and put another text inside the second container of number 2. And also we have to fix it out its width. So the first container will have a width of 2/5, and the second will have a width of 3/5. So also we have to select this each container and give it some height, and the height will be 500 px. And if you go to the website, you can see a height. However, it's looking good, and we have to just put content inside this. So first of all, we have to customize its heights to make it more similar to our Figma design. Now it's time to have some gap between this container, so it will be looks good. And also we need a bg image inside our first container. So the image will be experience.png, so you can see that. However, we have to fix it out its position by giving it some class name of bg cover, bg center, and bg no repeat. And also we have to round it the corners, so round it lg. Also we have to put a background color for our second container, and also the border radius will be rounded lg, so the corner will be rounded. Also we have to remove the text from the container, so we can build further our containers. So we don't have to put any content inside our first container, we have to put some content inside our second container. So for that we have to give a class name to our second container of flex, and inside that container we need another container which will have a class name of w1/5. So we have to give a tags inside this container also, and also fix it out its width. And if we see that, then it is looking good now. And now it's time to put some images between inside this first container. So for that we need an image, I think a div which will contain a background color of 900 p gray 900, and the padding will be 3, and the corner will be rounded axle. Inside that container we need an image which will be the logo, and for that we have to fix it out its location. Its location is public slash assets slash framer.svg. Also we have to specify its height so it will be looks like good. However, we don't have put any class name to our image, but we will do it later. Also fix it out its layout by giving it the container, giving the container of flex, and the flex will be column, and the justify will be between, and items will be centralized, and p y-axis will be 10. So it's looking good now. And also I think we don't need any py on in this container. We need p padding on y-axis on our main container of second container. So now we have to fix it out the layout, and for that I have decreased the padding for our image, and also I have given the background color for gray 800 to our image. Just copy paste this container which contain the image, so paste it here and paste it below also. And if you go to the website, then you can see the something is going wrong, because I think we have done something wrong. Meanwhile, if we copy this container and paste it here, I just have figured out what is going wrong. This div is closing by automatically, that's why it's making wrong. So we have to remove the auto suggestion, and if we go to the website, then you can see the image are now in good position. And also we have to give the proper name for each image. Second will be the Figma image, and the third one will be the Notion icon. So you can see that everything's looking great, and between these images we need a line. For that we are using a div. The div will have a width of 1px, and the background will be bg gray, and the color will be bg gray 800, and the height will be 20, I think. So if you go to the website, then it's looking great, and we just have to copy this. Before that we have to fix it out its height. However, 10 is very little, and 16 I think it looks good, and just copy I think and paste below here. And if we go to the website, then it's looking great now. So I think we have completed our this section, so we can move on toward building our next section, which will be containing some tags like Figma, Framer, Figma, and other stuff. So for fixing that we need a tags. A tags will be having a class name of font bold, and the tags will be Spaqoo tag, and yeah. And below this tags, what we need another paragraph tags, and the tags will be having a class of text graph 500, and the text will be full stack developer 2024, and still he is present. So below this paragraph we need another paragraph which will have a class name of text graph 500, and it will contain some lorem text. So you can see that our stuff is looking good, and we can move on towards the next thing. For that we just have to copy paste this section. I think just copy paste the heading and the paragraphs and just copy paste it below. So copy paste here. Before that we have to have another container which will have a class name of flex, and the flex will be column and the gap will be 1, and just copy this container. So our gap will be applied on all the container we are using. So paste it almost 3 times. If you go to the website, then stuff are just merged, so we have to give the container the class name of flex, and the flex will be column and justify will be between. And items, I don't think we need an items class name. So now it's looking great, and we have to decrease, we have to remove the py, and I don't think we have to remove that. Now we have to change the text if it required. However, I don't think we have to change the text because we are not focusing on writing the whole content on our development, because it can take some time. So we are just focusing on creating this layout stuff. So now it's time to create our next component, which is the let's talk component. So for that I have comment out text and just copy paste it again, and inside these comment sections we will be writing all the code which is required to build our this section. For that we need a div which will have a class name of flex, justify will be center, and items will be center. So you can see that we have another container inside this container, and this container will have a height of 500 px, and the bg will be an image. So let's give the location of the image so we can put the image inside this container. So now let's give the image location, so it will be displayed on our desktop. However, I don't know the image name, so I now know the image name is terminal.png. So if we write this and give the exact location, and if we refresh, then there is nothing is displaying, because I think we have done something wrong. And for that I have to have the exact location or the exact class we have are before used. Like this class we will be using in our below div, so it will display the exact image. However, the class I am writing is making some errors, so fix it out its image name also, which is terminal. If we refresh, it is still not displaying the image. So what is wrong, I don't know, and why it is not displaying the image. So let's fix it out. However, I think everything is going good, but I think we have to also specify the width for this container. So if we refresh and go to the exactly, we are doing something wrong, because we also have to specify the image width, not the div width. However, if we don't do that, the default width of our container will be 0. So also specify the height of this container, which is almost 600 px, but feel free 700 px, but feel free to choose your own layout size. However, it's not mandatory to have a 700 px. So inside this container we are using h1 tag, and this tag will have a class name of text3xl, and font will be bold, and the text will be large stark. And below this heading we need a paragraph which will be displaying some random text, and this for this text we have a class name of text gray 500, which will make this text a little bit gray, so little bit dark gray. So after that we also have to give padding to our outermost container, so our content will be inside our container, and we also have to give flags, and flags will be column, and gap will be 2. So now I think it's looking good, but if you do want to decrease the width of this container, then do it and make it perfect as you want. However, I am trying to make the stuff easy, so everybody who just who are beginner to development of Figma design into code development, then they will be know how to do that. So we need a paragraph, and paragraph will be showing a displaying a text of full name, and below that paragraph we need an input element which will be having a background color of gray 900, and padding will be 2, rounded will be LG, and width will be full, and the text will be gray 500. So if we click, and inside this input we need an attribute, and the attribute will be placeholder, and just copy this paragraph and input again and again, so we can get the exact layout which we are looking for. So we are just near to our Figma design, and we have to select this tag and remove the full name and replace it with email address. Also we have to change the placeholder to something like email. However, I am not focusing on the tags, so you don't have to worry about that. And below this placeholder, above this placeholder we need a text which will be displaying your message, and also we need a text area for this component. However, it is showing some error because we have to have a slash, so it is a self-closing tag, and it also need all the input needs a self-closing tag. If we refresh the website, it's still showing the error, I think so. So we are trying to fix it out the layout, and we are near to accomplish the design into our development. So I think if we remove the text area and just keep the input, then it will be working. And however, let's you will also can try out, and in your development it will not show any error, so feel free to do that also. However, I'm not doing that, and I'm just giving some height to this input to make it similar to our comment section in our other websites. So I am giving it a height of 100, I think. So 100 is not applying. However, I have given the gap of 2. So what I have done, we need I think we have to select all of this, and padding on y-axis will be 5, not y-axis, padding on top will be 5. So we are completed this section, and now we need a button below all of this stuff, and the button will be having a class name of width full, which will increase this width to full screen. And also we need a background gray. However, I have written something wrong, and we also have to fix it out that. And the corner will be rounded LG. And yeah, here is what we have done. We need a BG purple and the 500 value. However, it's looking not good. If we do 900, it's still not looking great. So I think we just need the gray color, and it should be in 800. Also we needed a padding of 3 from all the sides. And now I think it's looking great, and it's just similar to design. However, its color is not matching, but you can do it also. So yeah, that's basically it, and we have completed our this section successfully. But feel free to customize every aspect to make it perfect, just like our Figma design. However, I am doing some more customization by padding on y-axis will be increasing, so it looks like our Figma design. Now I think we have to move toward our next section, which will be our footer section. So comment out the footer text and just copy paste it again inside these comments. We need to write every code which is required to create our footer. So for that I'm using a footer element, and the footer element will be having a class name of flex. Justify will be between, and the items will be centered. So inside this footer we need a paragraph which will have a class name of text gray 600, and the text will be terms and conditions. And after that we need another text will be the privacy policy. So policy p l o p o l i c e c y. Just copy paste it again and just change the text is required, like something like 2022-24, all right reserved to Spaqoo tag. However, feel free to use your name also. If you want to use the name of JSM mastery, then you can also do that. However, we have to change the justify between it to justify between. We also need some margin on top of 5. Yeah, it's looking great now. If we remove the all of the box shadow from all the elements, it will look nice. So between these tags we need some icons. So for that I'm using a div which will be having a class name of flex. Justify will be centered and items will be centralized. Also we need a gap of 2, and inside this container we need an image, and the image will be the icons. So the icon will be the, for specifying its location we have to write public slash asset, and inside that asset we have to specify the icon name, which is github.svg. Also we have to give a class name to our this image to customize it as our Figma design. So I'm giving BG gray 900 and padding will be 2 and rounded will be 4. However, image is not displaying, so let's fix it out why it is not displaying. So I think we have done some mistake. However, if I specify height for it, it's also not working. So if I remove the class name attribute from here, then nothing is displaying. So how can we fix it out this? I'm taking time for doing this because it can be happen with you also. So you have to figure out why sometimes our image not work. So let's fix it out and let's see how we can have the exact image as we want as our Figma design. So for that I have copied an image which is displaying on the screen. So I have to replace this image with this, which is also working. So now it's time to just change the name for this image, which is GitHub. So when we write GitHub, it's not working. So why it is not working? If I write Twitter, it's also not working. However, I think something wrong here, and which creates some error, and which cause our image not displaying on our screen. So we have to fix it out it, and why it is not displaying, I don't know, and I'm just stuck here. But if your image is working, then you can move on towards next thing. So I am also moving towards next thing, which is the responsiveness of our website. And yeah, that's basically it. We are going to make our website now responsive. However, what we have done, it's not matter. Now it's time to responsive our uh, website. So for that, we will put every text to md dot dot semicolon, because if we put this quote before the text, it will be, this style will be applied on the medium screen. However, the text excel will be displayed on the default screen. However, no matter what the screen you have, when the screen when the your layout approach to medium size screen, then it will be applied, like the padding will be applied when the screen size will be medium. However, on small screen we have to fix it out, it's a padding also, which is p5. So as like this, you have to try out many stuff. So also we have to give the flex on md. So I don't think we have to remove that, we don't have to do that stuff. Just copy all the text which contain class name of text3xl by pressing Ctrl D, and after that we have to put md dot dot to make it uh, to apply this style on our medium screen. However, on the default screen, it will be the style which we are writing now, like width is equal to 220, and it will be displayed on the medium screen. However, I think the responsiveness of image is not working, but the responsiveness of text are working. So do whatever is working, and don't worry about the other stuff. You can experiment with that. If you don't know how to make this responsive, and you have done your website, and now it's time to make the website responsive, then you just have to copy the whole code and give it to ChatGPT, and write some prompt like make our website code responsive. Then ChatGPT will doing all this stuff for making your website responsive. However, our website is still not responsive, I think. So for fixing out this, we have to try out many stuff, like on medium screen I think our website is looking great, and our grids are not looking great, so we have to fix it out it. And for that, I'm selecting this container, all the container which contain my padding on y-axis, and it will be padding y-axis when our screen will be medium. However, on the default screen it will be py5. Also we have to flex call the, when we do any stuff flex, give any stuff give any div the class of flex, it will automatically done it flex row. So we have to do it flex column. So after that, what we have to do, we have to put md before the div sizes. If we have done given some sizes to our containers, like w dash 3/5, Then we have to put MD, because when our screen is on MD, the width size will be applied. However, on default screen it will be full div, so we don't worry about the the width of our containers. So I think we have to move toward our next section, which is our grid section, about section. And here we have to fix it out the last containers, because the last containers are not looking good and it is in raw. However, it is in column. However, its size is too much small, so we have to increase its size on default screen. So here is it. We have to put MD, and it will be full on default screen. So it's looking great now, and yeah, I think it's looking great. And it will be MD and flex will be raw on default screen. Now on medium screen it's looking great. Now it's time to fix it out over my selected work section. So for that we have to go to the area where we have done coding, and we know where is the coding of our work section. However, we have given comments to each component, so we are now able to see where is our component code. So also fix it out its font size. On default screen it will be text extra small, and on medium screen the text will be MD. On default screen the height of our container will be 400 px, and on the medium screen it will be 500 or other size, as we have mentioned in our coding, 550. Now it is not still looking good, so we have to fix it out it by let's give it text sm small, and text will be large on excel on medium screen. Also we have to do it md on. We have to fix it out the height and width of our images, our container, and our font sizes, so it will look more responsive on different screen sizes. And containers should be on a good position, so it should not looks awkward. So now it's looking great, and we can move on towards our next component, next section, which is my client section. Now we also know that where is our Discord, and we have to, I think we have to put text MD, and on medium screen the text will be Excel. Also for our other text which contain text Excel, it will be text MD on default screen, and on medium screen it will be the text Excel. So it is also applicable for the text below this heading, and we have to fix it out the text size to MD, and on medium screen the text will be Excel. So I think it's looking great, and we have to fix it out the star size on our screen. So I think the height of the stars will be 3 on default screen, and on medium screen it will be height of 5. So we can now move on towards our next section, which is our experience section. So for that we have two containers. One contain image and other contain the contents. So we have to make the responsive our content section, like selecting all the tags, and we have to make the text MD on default screen, SM I think, and on we have to copy it and paste it here again, and it's looking good. And feel free to make it more good, and however I think it's looking nice. And we have to have a font size on medium screen. So for that we have to write MD text LG. So on medium screen it will be text LG, and it will be hidden on default screen, and on medium screen the text will be blocked, means it will display. However, if we hidden the text, it will be looking awkward. So we don't have to make our layout awkward. So we have to fix it out its font size. So on default screen, the text will be small, and on medium screen, the text will be LG. So below this, we have a container of let's talk. So let's make it responsive also. So for that we have to put MD before padding on y-axis, and also we have to fix it out the font sizes and other stuff also. So if we remove that and give the padding of 10 on default screen, it's looking great now. And also the text will be hidden on medium screen and block on medium screen, and on default screen it will be hidden. So also we have to give the padding on top of 20, and gap of 2 will be removed, and I think 32 will be good. 44 I think the text is still out of our image. 36, 44, 38 it's not applying. 42 it's not. 44, 46, 44, yeah, it's looking great now. And we just have to remove the space between this text and inputs. So for that, how we can do that, we have to select all the class name of mt5 margin on y top of 5, and give margin on top of 2 on default screen, and on medium screen the margin on top will be 5. And if we refresh, then we can see everything is working, and we have to put it MD to this height of 700. And if we decrease the margin on top to something like 20, 44, 32, 20, now it's looking great. And I don't think we have to customize anything else. So now everything is responsive, and we have successfully made our stuff responsive and remove the border from all the components. Now we can see our layout is looking great, and we have created a responsive website using Figma design, and we have successfully converted our Figma design into coding. However, on small screen the stuff are not looking good, so let's fix it out it fastly so we can move towards the next section, which is the deployment of our project. So for that we have to give the gap of 3, 5 to our navbar, And also we need to give padding on of 20, and it's still not looking good, but we have to fix it out by selecting our widths of our small images and decrease it to W10. Now I think it's looking good, and this is the smallest screen, and I think it is looking good on smaller screen. However, our these grids are not looking good, so let's fix it out by uh, we have to, what we can do to make our layout more good looking. So for that we have to put md before this and give grid calls 1 to on default screen, and on medium screen it will be calls 2. And I think we have done good stuff for this section, and let's fix it out the last two containers. So here is it. We have to give flex column, flex on small screen, the flex will be column, and if we refresh, nothing is working. So extra small, I think it's not working because we are working on another stuff, I think. However, I think we don't have to make it more uh, complex. So let's move on toward the next section, which is work section. So for that, on medium screen the flex will be raw. However, it is the flex will be defaultly raw, so we have to give the flex column on default screen, and the width will be full on default screen, and on medium screen it should be the customized width. So let's fix it out by putting md before the width, and it's looking great now. And we also have to fix it out the image container. So put md before this width, and it is also looking great. And also we have to fix it out our feedback section. So for that, put md before this grid calls 2, and yeah, these are looking great. And now the experience section we have to customize. So let's go to the experience section code and give the flex md medium screen the flex will be raw, on default screen the flex will be column. However, we also have to fix it out its width, so put md before the width, and below also here we have to put md. I think why it is not working, because we have to put md here, I think. So now it's looking great, and just we need to customize our last component, which is second last component, which is the let's talk section. So for that I think we have to specify height for default screen about 400 px. If we do that, it is still small. If we give 500, it's not working. I think we don't have to give a height to this stuff. What we have to do, we have to, I think we have to decrease the sizes of our font and our inputs, so it will work. So the text to Excel will be Excel. Select these classes, all the classes which contain these classes. So give text small on medium default screen, and on medium screen the text will be LG. The content are still outside of our image, so we have to fix it out by decreasing the sizes of our inputs. So padding 2 will be on medium screen, and padding, I think we don't have to customize the paddings. However, we have to do that to make the size, decrease the size of our input. So text will be an SM, and on medium screen the text will be LC. So we have to give some padding, I think padding 1, and button is too much bigger and we have to fix it out. Padding will be 1 and padding 3 will be on medium screen. Margin 2 will be on medium screen. So padding top will be decreased, and here is it. I think we have successfully customized our sections. Now it's time to customize our last section, and we have to give the text SM small, extra small, and on medium screen the text will be LG. So I think we have successfully customized our website to make responsive, and here is it. We have a responsive portfolio website using HTML and Tailwind CSS. It is looking great. It is also responsive on multi screens, and our components are looking great on mobile screen also, and it will be looks good on different other screens. So yeah, on mobile screen it is responsive. Now let's see it on our medium screen. On medium screen it is still looks good, and if anything is not responsive like this section, it will be responsive on the screen which we use. Probably we average people use two screen sizes, mobile screen size and desktop screen size. Now it's time to deploy our project. So for that I am opening my GitHub repository, which is the portfolio website. So I have to paste the code here by uploading the file. So for that we have to drag and drop the folder inside here. So it is not deploying because we have not modules, and we have to close the VS Code to delete these not modules because it have a big size, because it contain lots of files and it will be not upload on our GitHub. So after deleting that, it is started to deploying on our GitHub. Now it's time to open our Vercel, which allow us to deploy, and it is a free platform which hosts our Next.js and other Vite apps project here. So we can access our any project while using URLs. So it is successfully commit to our GitHub repository, and we can go to our Vercel and import that repository and deploy it on Vercel. So if we deploy here, and we have to customize its name to make it more sensible like a portfolio website, with HTML and Tailwind CSS. Also we have to specify the folder where our project is uploaded. So now deploy time, and it's not now deploying, and it will take some few seconds. And after taking some few seconds, it is successfully deployed, and we can continue to our dashboard, and we can visit it by clicking on the button of visit. So now we have created and deployed our Figma design into functional deployment and functional website. So our website is looking great, and our grids are also looking great. However, some images are not functioning. However, it's not the our it's not matter, because we have completed our tutorial. We have successfully created the layouts, and every aspect is done, and we have also know how to make a responsive website, and also we know how to host our Vite apps on our Vercel, and also we have deployed our project on GitHub. So we have completed lots of stuff inside this tutorial, and if you are a beginner, then this is a very valuable tutorial for you. So don't forget to subscribe.